I want to start streaming. I'm gonna get coffee. I got the wrong glasses on. I get immersed in stuff. I just get immersed in articles that are so interesting. And Eric's is one. And Eric has a meeting, so he can't come. But we're gonna get Eric on because Eric's article speaks to the heart of what I'm talking about on Target Tuesdays. Well, it kind of does. I think if he had 40 years in direct marketing, he would be right on the same page with me. But sadly, he has 20 years of data. But he's had a kind of an epiphany, so we're going to try and get to that at the end. But let's just double check and see if anything's working. Yes, it's working. So we're going to try. Okay, we'll go over to Periscope and we'll just be there. So if you want to comment, you can, and I'll hopefully watch for it. And I've got way too many. Let's just double check and see if anything's working. Windows yes, open. It's working. Okay, we'll go over to Periscope and we'll just be there. Okay, there I am. Yeah, good morning down there. Good morning, Phoenix. Yes, sirree. It's so nice to see you again. Okay, so let's go over here to and I just closed the window. No, I didn't close the window. Let's go over here to full screen, get rid of this. And, I've been trying to figure out best Super Bowl ads. This is probably the best one ever. This was somebody said was the best one ever from 2013. And it's about God making farmers.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then pain in from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer.
See the truck?
God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners. Somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk. Somebody who'd bail a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing. Who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
There you go. How about that? It's not funny. I got a bunch of funny ones for tomorrow. So let's get over to the rest of the world. Okay. And I want to give Eric plenty of time, so I'm just going to go. Now, this is funny because Media Post, here's the title: Microsoft search revenue jumps 9% in the fourth quarter. And what I wanted to just put this up for is because I pointed out, remember about a week ago we did a little test of Google, and Verizon has a new search engine, and the hubris where we put in Washington, just the word Washington. And when Google first came out, you used to see George Washington, the state of Washington, Washington, D.C., maybe Washington University. If they wanted to pick something, we could have Washington Park in Milwaukee, but they didn't. Washington High School. Washington is a great test because there's a lot of ambiguity in what you might be looking for. And the more a search engine tries to guess, the less likely they are to get it right. It's a little bit like personalization, which I think marketers lose sight of. Which is better, to offer 10 great products or to try to figure out the one product that I'm going to buy next when, truth be told, I don't know the product I'm going to pick next. So Microsoft has backed off. When Bing first came out, it was all in on predictive. It would dive into a topic, and when you type Washington, it was like Washington State all in, because that's where they're located. And they knew that's what you wanted, which of course is unknowable. And they backed off a lot on that. I actually rated, we looked at Google, Verizon's new search, DuckDuckGo, and Microsoft. And I would say Bing is probably the best. And it does give you the variety on the side and the top so that you can fix it if it makes the wrong assumptions. So it's great that it went up. Okay, eBay. This is an interesting article. I love eBay. I buy on eBay almost every day. And their gross revenue was down a couple of points, but their U.S. revenue was down 6.3%. And to $35 billion. Well, that's still quite big. They're still number 5 in digital commerce. But the reason was interesting. Scott Schenkel said the reason the U.S. was down so much was because of the Supreme Court ruling, the disastrous, incompetent Supreme Court ruling. Thank you, Justice Kennedy. I hope you have a long and happy retirement. You should have retired a year earlier. He worked on this for 20 years to try to get sales tax disconnected from where the company was located and tie it to where the customer was located. And the problem being, there's 12,000 taxing authorities in the United States. 12,000. And the retailer said, well, we just want a level playing field. No, you don't. With a retail store, you charge the sales tax of the taxing authority where the store is located. You don't have to. Imagine you had to figure out where each customer was from, which isn't always easy because their billed to and their shipped to might be different. Which do you pick, right? And the item they buy, a candy bar, is taxable in some places and not others, as a food item or not. There's thousands of these kind of distinctions by each taxing authority and overlapping taxing authorities. So a retailer only has to figure out the taxing authority where the store is. They don't have to ask each customer and then charge different sales tax as they go through the line. That's what they're asking the e-commerce people to do. So it's a disaster. In my opinion, it's totally unconstitutional, and Congress needs to get off their butts, quit making TV time, and get something done on this. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, so let's go over to this really great article by Eric Solomon. People ask me why I do these live streams when I get so few people watching. Well, the real reason I started was to get good at it, and I think I'm pretty good. I compare my content with others on LinkedIn, and I would say the production quality and the content is as good or better. But one of the other reasons is I get to meet interesting people, and I get conversations with them, and we've got it worked out now where we can do interviews and, both of us on screen, and just a lot of fun, right? And Eric is a guy I really want to get to know because I really enjoyed this. This headline really grabbed me. Data-driven marketing is harmful. Now, what was really interesting is that the article began on a turn I did not expect. He was talking about being on a performance calibration session with Instagram. Okay, he was managing director at Instagram of their marketing department, and updated and fun, huh? And he was in a meeting, and they were trying to fit their employees on a bell curve, which means some outstanding, some not so great. Now, I have to admit there's probably an 80-20 in your employees, just like there is everywhere else. Most of them are okay. My boss once told me, because I didn't think I was getting enough face time with him, very smart guy, Harvard MBA, physics undergrad, Vic Hunter from Purdue, and he said, look, John, if your work is in the bottom 10%, I'm going to tell you to redo it. I'm going to tell you it's bad. If your work is in the top 10% where it just exceeds my expectations, I'm going to tell you that too. But 80% of your work is probably going to be about what I was hoping for. Maybe not quite. Maybe a little better. I'm not going to say. I'm just not going to say much. You're on your own. I have other things to do. And that's kind of a bell curve, right? It's got the standard deviations and all the rest. But hiring and firing is tricky. I've been told by HR people all over that you can't hire well, you can only fire quickly. And there's something to that too. Anyway, Eric, it's so good. Eric, we got to have him on. What's funny is, I'll tell you about the article. Maybe we'll cover some more of it tomorrow. But what's funny is, I said I really enjoyed the narrative. But at the end, I was hoping for more. I said, I bet you were running out of word count. He wrote me back and he said, ha, ha, ha. He said, that's so true. And of course, this happens to me every day. I run out of time. And I don't know how to fit it all in. And that's just the way it is. Right? So he said, this is the summary of a book that he's working on. And so great job. But it was pretty funny that I guess I kind of guessed. And that's part of what happens when you're old and have a white beard. You can guess the answer a lot better than you could before you had broad experience. So anyway, going down, here's the bell curve stuff. But he was a devotee of data. Now what he learned was, by plotting performance on a normal curve, we're treating people as data points, not human beings. Yes, there's two sides to this. I could defend the data, but I'm going to agree with him mostly. Okay, at the age of 20, he was in search of truth. So he went into cognitive psychology, and he liked the vernacular of objectivity. And see, that's why I went into direct marketing, because you got A-B splits, you got isolating causal variables, you've got causal impact, you've got differential statistically significant results if you mail enough pieces. And so it was a place where I could learn to win no matter what. What I didn't understand and wasn't prepared for was the politics of accountability, where so many of the creatives didn't want any accountability whatsoever. And I managed a team of creatives for a couple of years. And Norm, the owner of the company, said, when you came, we deliberately gave you the 3 worst departments. And now that you're leaving, they're the 3 best. So that was kind of nice. So I guess I did use some data. But I told the artist, I said, what's your average time to develop a page? So you develop a 24-page book. How long does it take you? Oh, we don't keep track of that. We're creative. I said, well, we're going to keep track of it. They got really mad. A couple months went by, and one of the guys came in, and he had this idea for this golf bag, set of golf clubs. And he said, if I could move it toward the bleed, it would really pop, and wrap the text around it. We were just learning how to do that. We had one of the first PC-driven typesetters, if you remember those days. But he said, I think it'll really pop this way. He said, would that be okay? I said, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm looking for from you guys. He said, it is? He said, I thought you wanted us only to follow the rules. I said, no. We want the rules to simplify the process so that it goes faster. But when you want to break them, we want to break them. But you can't break them. It's no fun if you don't have any. If you try to make every page unique and different, it's too much work. And you end up spending time needlessly, right? It's like starting every day with a blank piece of paper. So anyway, The politics of accountability, and I've talked on this many times, has been almost insurmountable. That people don't want data. People react against data. And so we'll go on with Eric's article tomorrow. Maybe he's in a meeting today, so we'll go on with it. And so far, so good. I'm right with him on the whole thing. And he says, I was somewhat of a corporate unicorn. Amen. Good for you. I've been that my entire life. But we've gone too far. We've run out of room. We've run out of words, and we've run out of time. I'm John Miglautsch. Like and share. Your friends might think you're smart. Have a great day. Bye-bye.